Hello, everyone. We be live. I see people are already in the live chat. This is great. We're already busy. Guys, make sure you like the stream right now. We're going to be reviewing an Ali Dawah video. Ali Dawah, for people who don't know, is one of the most, if not the actual number one Muslim YouTuber in English language. Somebody with, let me see, how many subscribers? 1.2 million subscribers. I cannot figure this out. I mean, I think I can actually. Why is it that somebody that spreads so much nonsense is this popular? We have so much work to do, guys, and I'm so glad that you're here with me because I need your support. We need to grow this army. Just imagine the amount of people that are out there and are spreading misinformation and nonsense. And all we have, there needs to be a response. This requires a response, guys. The forces that are spreading horrible views, nonsense, misinformation, illiberal views that are making the world a much worse place, views that are fighting against all the standards and all the values that has made the world much more peaceful and stable. We need to fight hard in trying to respond to that. And let me just show you the cover of the video that I'm about to respond to, okay? This is Ali Dawah's video cover. And it says, Israel is preparing for Dajjal. I don't know if you guys know what Dajjal is. People in the live chat, if you know what Dajjal is, please let me know. So I want to get a sense of how informed our audience is at Atheist Republic. But for people who don't know, let me just wait for a little second. So I want to see if people know what that is. Yes. Okay, good. No, not the devil. Not the devil. It's the version of Antichrist. It is the Antichrist in Islam. So in Islam, we have one main evil character, which is the devil, but there's another main evil character, which is Dajjal, and this is the end of times figure. So many religions have an end of, at the end of times, they have a good guy and a bad guy, right? So you have a Genesis story, which has a good guy and a bad guy in most religions. And then you have the time in between, which there's a lot of good characters and evil characters. And most religions have, or many religions have, an end of days narrative, and the end of days narrative needs to have a hero and an anti-hero. And in Christianity, that would be the Antichrist, and in Islam, that would be Dajjal. But the interesting thing is that Dajjal is kind of associated among many Muslims with Zionism. So they have took the mythology that exists about the evil that is about to come, and Jews, now they're linking that to the Jews as a way to spread anti-Jewish hatred. But it's not just the Jews. You can see there's the red cow there with the Star of David behind it, next to the guy that is supposed to be Dajjal in this image. We'll go through the video really soon. And Dajjal is famous for having one eye only, right? One eye. You can see the cover of the video that I chose has the Dajjal guy with one eye also. But the interesting thing is, on the forehead of Dajjal says Kafir, right? Or Kafar, as we say in Persian, right? Which means infidel, which means non-believer. But this is interesting because a lot of Muslims believe that Dajjal is marked with this sign of the unbeliever, which kind of shows how evil Islam is, because the unbelief itself is associated with the mark of the Antichrist. I'm a kafir. I'm a kafir. In Islam, I'm a kafir. And you can see Dajjal has been marked with what I am, has been identified as something that I am as well. And a lot of you in the live chat are as well. And you can see also, this is the first time actually I'm analyzing the cover as well, not just the video, because I think it helps inform you guys. You can see that the Dajjal here is saying, not long left now. What is this is a very popular topic among religious people, and this is not just exclusive to Muslims, right? Hindus, Christians, Jews, Muslims. I mean, Jesus himself apparently was obsessed. I mean, whatever that person that the story of Jesus is based upon is, we're all obsessed with the end of times. Muhammad as well. This is, I don't know why, but this is such a popular topic. People love talking about the end of times coming any moment now, like it's just right around the corner. If you, as a YouTuber, as a religious YouTuber, in whatever religion you are, if you hint at signs that the end of days is coming, those are going to be some of your best videos. It's going to get the most amount of clicks because people are obsessed with that, right? So now there's something happening in Israel with red cows that Ali Dawah and some other YouTubers, I saw Smile to Jannah did that as well, is jumping on this bandwagon of calling this a sign of end of times. And guess what? These are some of their most popular videos right now. So if I look at Ali Dawah's channel, for example, his latest videos has gotten how many views? So we got anything between 200K or like 250K to some that didn't do so good, 11K and 18K, right? So this video of the red cow, this one was one of the highest ones, like 217K, 217,000 views on this one video. So you can see end of times narratives. And if you go to the channel of Smile to Jannah, he did a similar video on the on this red cow. Something happened in Israel and they both jumped on this, and so many other YouTubers, Muslim YouTubers, are jumping on this. Smile to Jannah's video on this topic got 450,000 likes. 450,000 likes. I decided to review Ali Dawah's video because there was something in there that was that was very interesting. So I wanted to show it to you guys. Let me just see what you guys are saying in the live chat. Okay, guys, make sure you like the stream. It's very important for you guys to like the stream, because if you like the stream, more people will watch this and more people will understand how these Muslims think. A lot of these Dawah guys, how they think, how a lot of their narratives and a lot of their conclusions will make more sense to you if you watch these videos that I'm making and reviewing it for you guys. Because the way Ali Dawah and Smile to Jannah, Muhammad Hijab, and I don't know, the Daniel Hayraju, the way that they make their videos is mostly for a Muslim audience. So there's a lot of things that they don't explain to their audience because they understand that the Muslim audience understand it. But I come here and I translate those parts that maybe you might miss. Okay, so let's just go through this video and see what he has to say.
Who believe that a red cow must be sacrificed in order for the Jews to progress plans to demolish the Al-Aqsa Mosque and build the fabled Third Temple in its place. But hardliner Israeli group the Temple Institute have already purchased and imported 5 red Angus heifers from Texas.
Doesn't that ring a bell, guys? Now they said you've come with the truth, then they slaughtered it, even though Allah says in the Quran it seemed like they were not going to.
Okay, so that's the teaser. Something is happening in Israel, and he says, does that not ring a bell? And he was showing a Quranic verse. He will get into those details and we will analyze it with him. But the main point that works for the Muslim audience is that, oh my God, this is another sign that the end of times is close. That is the main thing that made Ali Dawah decide to do this video. But let's watch his ad, because the ad was interesting for me.
Don't we?
So this is not the main part of this video, but I wanted to watch this ad because let's watch it and then I'll talk about it.
Get happy when somebody embraces Islam.
How many of us have the time to dedicate
to teaching them Salah
for the first time ever?
Salah means prayer in Islam, right? So in Persian we say salat because we pronounce the te at the end, but Arabs apparently don't. They say salah. And yeah, so this is just basically the 5 times prayer that the Muslims do in a day. They're saying they're trying to teach that to new Muslims, to people who are new in Islam. They're trying to teach them how to pray.
Left in the dark without any guidance. You are the reason for people like Michael,
like Katrina,
like Trisha,
like
me.
Start to pray 5 times a day. That's Fajr,
Dhuhr,
Asr,
Maghrib,
Isha.
all due to your donations. Brothers and sisters, we only need 100 people to give £100.
£100 can help teach 10 to 30 people
learn how to pray Salah,
and memorize Surah Al-Fatiha for the first time ever.
So they're saying you donate £100 to teach how many people again? How many? Let me see. £100
can help teach 10 to 30 people.
learn
10 to 30 people. Okay, that's weird. Like, okay, $3 per person minimum, right? $10 max. £10, sorry, max. £10 to teach someone Salah. That's weird, okay?
how to pray Salah.
But the interesting thing is that let me see in this ad they will explain to us how this donation is going to help people learn how to do the prayer.
And memorize Surah Al-Fatiha for the first time ever.
Not only that, these reverts will be teaching their families
Their wives, their daughters, and their sons.
to learn how to pray Salah, all because of
All right, so they don't explain it, but they show it here. So the prayer mat that they're selling, that they're giving to people if you donate, has the prayer instructions on it. You can see, like they will give this mat or whatever, and then you will see what the prayer instructions are.
your donations.
The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said,
When you die, all your deeds come to an end, except 3.
Ongoing charity.
Beneficial knowledge.
And a righteous child who prays for you.
Not only is your donation an ongoing charity, but also an ongoing beneficial knowledge. Click the link in the description below and donate now.
So
Assalamu alaikum.
here's the reason why I wanted to show you the ad before we get into this whole red cow situation and the end of times and the Dajjal coming and the Antichrist and the fight between Jesus Christ and Dajjal and all that nonsense. Can somebody help me, because I want to be fair here. Did you guys know, this might be a shock to you, okay? Let me know if I'm going to surprise you with this. Did you know if I go, like, I'm assuming the people who are watching this probably have access to YouTube because this video is on YouTube. Did you know that if you go on YouTube, I kid you not, if you go on YouTube and you type how to pray Islam or Islamic prayer tutorial or teaching, or how pray Muslim, just how pray Muslim, okay? Did you know that videos will show up for the very low price of $0.00? In fact, I have one of these ready for you. I don't know why they need £100 for. Can somebody explain this to me? Why they need £100 for? This video I found has already 6 million views. Hold on, let me show this to you guys. This video has 6 million views. Hey guys, I'm new Muslims in my audience. Ali Dawah wants money to teach you this. I'm doing this for free. You go, this channel is called Adam-Islamic Animation, and this has this video that I'm showing you. I'm not going to show all of it because you could go find it yourself. It says how to pray Fajr for women. So I'm assuming they have for men as well. But yeah, let's look at this.
Allahu Akbar.
Yeah.
A'udhu billahi minash shaytan.
By the way, that's not the right way. That's the Sunni way. You should supposed to have your hands down like a proper Shia, but I'm not going to get into that.
Rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim.
See? You're even learning the Fatiha, or as we call it, Hamd. The Surah Fatiha, she's teaching you that, like, they need £100 to teach this to people. This is on YouTube. It's free. Why do you need that money?
Alhamdulillah.
Can somebody explain to me why they need that money? Look at this video.
Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanur Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin.
Yeah, so it keeps going. So if she finishes the Fatiha.
Allahu Akbar.
Look, it has all the movements. Look, it's so helpful. It's better than that math. Like, I don't understand. What's the point of that? What's the point of spending money on that? Just send them, if you want people to learn how to pray Islamically, just send them the link to this video. There's so many other ones out there. Maybe this is on his. Oh, I see why you don't send this video. She's not wearing the chador. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I made you sin. What she's wearing is too tight. Yes. Oh my God. I could see the shapes of her body. She's supposed to wear a chador, something loose that doesn't show the shape of her body. I'm getting horny as I'm watching this. Yeah, so this is bad. So don't send them this video. This video might get them the wrong ideas. She doesn't have the proper covering. This is too tight, people. Like, no, this is obviously wrong. Like, I think this is not what you should. Muslim woman praying. If you look at it on Google Images. Oh my God, what are these people wearing? This is not right. What the hell? This is the end of times. Okay, I'm convinced that we are at the end of times now. What are these clothes? These are too tight. This is too sexy. You can't wear that while praying. What the hell are these people doing? I'm actually now offended I'm on behalf of Muslims. This is not okay. This lady here. She's wearing the proper attire. Not these people. This is not Islamic. These are too tight. Oh my God, what are you doing? You can't wear that while praying. Okay, guys, I'm sorry. Maybe you do need Ali Dawah's instructions. These people are not doing it properly. Okay, maybe this is proper. Yeah, you can't do that. Anyways, let's go back to the video. Yeah. No, it's not the wrists and the arms. That could be shown. It's what you're wearing needs to be loose. You cannot show the shapes of the body. By the way, here's a question. Why are women required to wear their full-on hijab when they are praying to Allah in their own private area, like in their homes? Can somebody explain that to me? Because the purpose of hijab, as they say, that's not the actual purpose of hijab. I'm not going to get into it. But they say the actual purpose of hijab is so that men don't get horny watching you, right? But when a woman is at her own house, she's not praying at the masjid, she's not praying at the mosque, and she wants to communicate with her God, she's home alone, and she prays, she's supposed to wear the hijab, the full-on hijab. There is only one explanation for this, okay? The only reason that you need as a woman to put on the chador, to put on the full-on hijab while praying, no, people are saying, no, that's not the reason. It's because Allah might get horny? Because I can't find any other reason. Can somebody tell me any other reason? Can Allah, I don't know. That could, I mean, you're talking to God and you need to wear the hijab, full-on hijab. Why? Yeah, it must be because Allah gets horny. But anyway, let's continue.
To brothers and sisters and dear friends, Dajjal has been talked about many times, and
remember, Dajjal is the Antichrist. Dajjal in Islam is the Antichrist. Okay, so
Dajjal has been talked about many times, and one of his signs will be that when he will not be mentioned on the minbar, and that is one of the signs that Dajjal will come. You don't hear about him as much. Now, brothers and sisters.
Okay, so he already has found the sign. So, so that look at how vague and stupid these signs are. Okay, one of the signs that the Antichrist or the Dajjal is coming very soon is that you're not going to hear about him that much. Okay, so this is like this is, I mean, so on the member, like on the basically on the place where the mullahs and the mosques speak,
and that is one of the signs that Dajjal will come. You don't hear about him as much.
And he's saying, like, you don't hear him about it as much. So that's already a sign. Guys, one of the ways that religious people have a lot of predictions for what happens in the future or prophecies is that they're very vague. So nobody could actually determine whether those signs are there or not, because by what standard are you going to decide that a lot of people are talking about it or not? Anybody could make the claim like, oh, yeah, not many people are talking about it. Oh, that's a sign of end of times. But anyways, like in Hinduism, in Islam, and Christianity, and Judaism, you could see the signs that they have for how the end of times are close. It's basically up to you to decide whether those signs are being met right now or not, because they're so vague that anybody could decide yes or no at any time. Yeah, guys, Dolly is saying, don't forget to like the stream. Please like the stream.
Now, brothers and sisters, very interestingly and ironic, subhanAllah, if you think about it, that the Jews, which I found out, that in the Torah, in the scriptures, that they have to slaughter a specific kind of cow. And why? Because this cow is going to symbolize the coming of their Messiah, i.e. for us, the Dajjal. We're going to come into the nitty-gritty of it, but here's a video which will...
Oh, wow, we got a super chat. Wait, we already had a super chat at the beginning of the show that I kind of missed. Where is that? Why was that one starred? That was at the very, very beginning. Was that one starred? Yeah, anyway, I don't know. Oh, yeah, you highlighted it. Highlight it again, please. Okay, let me read this one. Oh, now, Justin is saying, Israel is an ancient culture and civilization more than it is a religion. Well, Israel is not a religion. Israel is a current country. The purpose of the religion seemed to be a way to preserve the nation. No, No, the religion was just a religion at that time that the religion existed. There was no such thing as a nation state. Nation states are a modern concept. Judaism is an ancient religion. But thank you for the super chat. HD Drake is saying, if God gets a hard on, the universe could be destroyed. Yeah, I don't know. Well, then put on your hijab, God damn it, when you're praying. Jesus Christ, that makes the stakes very high. All right.
I.e. for us, the Dajjal. We're going to come into the nitty-gritty of it, but here's a video which will dissect and make it more clear for you, which I came across and I thought I have to do a video of this because this is so profound. It shows how close we are to the Day of Judgment. And not only that, I'm going to tell you guys a verse in the Quran which you're going to be like, oh my gosh, that is exactly what Allah also says in the Quran. Let's watch the video for ourselves, inshallah, and we're going to come.
Could a text
I know which verse in the Quran he's talking about, and it's not exactly the same. When you say exactly, it better be exactly, because the colors are not the same, okay? One of them is red, the other one is yellow. When you say exactly, then it better be exactly the same. How is it exactly the same when the colors don't match? Okay, but let's see. Guys, by the way, people who watch South Park did an episode on this, like Jews like sacrificing a red cow. Remember that? Does anybody remember that? Have you guys seen that episode on South Park where they had their red cow that they need to slaughter for the end of times and stuff?
Video for ourselves, inshallah, and we're going to come.
Could a Texas cow start Armageddon in the Middle East in April 2024? And what does this have to do with Israel's war on Palestine's Gaza? On the 100-day anniversary of Israel's brutal assault on Gaza, Hamas spokesman Abu Ubaidah released a video explaining the motivations behind the group's incursion into Israel on October 7th. Alongside Israel's continued occupation of Palestine, he also mentioned the bringing of red cows into the occupied Palestinian territories. Ubaidah was referring to the plans of numerous right-wing
Wait, let's read this headlines.
The group's incursion into Israel on October 7th. Alongside Israel's continued occupation of Palestine, he also mentioned the bringing of red cows into the occupied Palestinian territories. Ubaidah was referring to the plans of numerous right-wing Israeli groups who believe that a red cow must be sacrificed in order for the Jews to progress plans to demolish the Al-Aqsa Mosque and build the fabled Third Temple in its place. It might sound like a conspiracy theory, but hardliner Israeli group the Temple Institute have already purchased and imported 5 red Angus heifers from Texas at a cost of $500,000. They have been grazing in a kibbutz in the occupied West Bank since 2022, with reports that the sacrifice is planned to take place as early as April 2024. The sacrifice of the red heifer has its roots in the Torah and the Talmud, and it is believed that the ritual is necessary to purify the Jews so that they can pray at the Al-Aqsa compound. The sacrifice will reportedly take place on a plot of land on the Mount of Olives facing the Al-Aqsa Mosque. The cow must be completely red, including its hooves.
Oh, it's so cute. This cow is so adorable. Look at that baby cow.
The cow must be
Oh my God, I want one.
completely red, including its hooves, and must be around 3 years old at the time of sacrifice. Following the sacrifice, the ashes of the cow are due to be mixed with water and used to purify selected Jewish priests and their adherents. Since occupying East Jerusalem in 1967, right-wing Zionists have long sought to build a third temple in place of the Al-Aqsa Mosque. While initially the goal only of fringe groups such as the Temple Institute, the plan has been mainstreamed in recent years, with groups of settlers regularly storming the Muslim compound and attracting support from numerous politicians and commentators. Temple organizations have even submitted blueprints for the construction of the temple and prepared the ornaments it will hold. Last year, during the month of Ramadan, a
Okay, look at this. Look at this title right here, okay? So they want to depict Israel as being evil and stuff, and they're not doing a very good job because they're showing on the screen themselves that Israel police, so what they're describing is some far-right, crazy religious, conservative people in Israel, which is a problem, by the way, for Israel. But this is a certain sect of people within Israel that doesn't even reflect, the law enforcement there. I mean, more recently, these people have been more and more part of the government, and that's a problem. But you can see even Al Jazeera and this TRT World video is claiming Israel police detain man planning Passover sacrifice at Al-Aqsa. Right, the mosque, right next to the Dome of the Rock. That's a place for Muslims. And look, the Israeli police is defending the Muslim area against this intrusion. So I thought Israel is supposed to be bad, and you're like, oh, they're doing the sacrifice to bring the end of times. Well, yeah, but the Israeli police stopped it. The Israeli police is stopping it. So why don't you mention that part?
Temple movement activist was arrested.
Look. Here's another. The Times of Israel also is mentioning police detain several. So that one was for Al Jazeera, and this one is from the Times of Israel, saying police detain several people seeking to carry out animal sacrifice at Temple Mount. Okay, so that's police. That's Israeli police stopping this. Okay, so this is not like Israel is trying to do this, because look at the title that the cover. Look at this again. This is the title that Ali Dawah has picked. Israel is preparing for Dajjal. Okay, first of all, they're not preparing for Dajjal. They're preparing for their own Jewish Messiah. Dajjal is your evil God. You're trying to make Jews look like they're evil, and you're trying the Messiah that they're preparing for. You're saying that's the Antichrist. But the people, the religious loony maniac people that in Israel that are doing this, they don't even represent the entirety of Israel, because your title says Israel is preparing. So there's two problems with Ali Dawah's claim. It's not the entirety of Israel. If it was, why is the police stopping it? And also, it's not the Dajjal. They're trying to rebuild the temple, okay? And they're also trying to take Judaism to its original roots when they did the sacrifices at the temple. I don't know if you guys know, when the temple was destroyed by the Romans, Judaism took two different routes. One of them decided that to replace the main act of worship based on before the destruction of the second temple by the Romans, the main act of worship by Jews used to be sacrificing animals at the temple, right? But the temple was destroyed, and there was two reactions to this. Some people said, some people changed that act of worship from sacrificing animals to the temple to rabbinic Judaism, where the act of worship was to just take religious texts and read it and go like this. Okay, that's rabbinic Judaism. They replaced this with the sacrificing animals at the temple. And there was this other group of people who you might have heard of them. They decided to go a different route. They're called Christians, and they decided to say, yeah, this guy was sacrificed, and that was the end of all sacrifices, and we don't need to sacrifice any animals at the temple anymore, right? So that was the two reactions to that. The rabbinic Judaism and Christianity was the two sects that came out of Judaism after the destruction of the temple, right? These are the way these were coping mechanisms, right? This is like, we lost our temple. What do we do now? They were like this. Some people were like, okay, this is how we worship. Well, some people went to Christ. Some people went to rabbinic Judaism. Okay, this is called coping, right? But again, this whole thing here, people, police detain several. So that the Dajjal thing is insane. These people that want to do animal sacrifice at the temple, because their text says, if you read actually the Jewish text, you can see that that's actually the main thing your God wants. The Jewish God really loves his steak. If you guys read the Jewish text, you'll notice that he's really into meat, and he really loves the smell of you cooking it for him, like the smell of the fat burning. He's very much into that for some reason. He's obsessed with meat, okay? So if you read Jewish text, you will realize that your God is very hungry and he wants his steak. I'm not kidding. That's what actually he wants. So any person who is serious Jews and read this text, they're like, okay, we need to build this. We need to sacrifice cows for our God. And this whole reading text is not good enough. And some people want the temple to be built so that they could do this. So this is not at all about bringing the Antichrist back. This is Ali Dawah lying to you. This is about something else. This is about getting God his steak, because that's the main way you worship God in Judaism.
A group of Jewish extremists attempted to bring a goat into the Al-Aqsa compound for a ritual sacrifice. The decades-long Israeli excavations under the Al-Aqsa Mosque have also been condemned by international archaeologists and denounced by numerous authorities who said...
So guys, you heard that for yourself, subhanAllah. What does that remind you of? They are looking for a specific, cows, heifers, whatever you want to call them for that matter, and that it should be totally red color. It should not have any defects. It should be, perfect to the best of its ability. No yellow hair, no black hair, etc. It all has to be red, and the sacrifice has to happen.
No yellow. You said no. Guys, remember this part. He said no yellow hair, okay? And he said there's something else that he has heard that sounds exactly like this.
A specific land which they've already bought that has to be facing their temple, where's Masjid Al-Aqsa now, and they're going to do that sacrifice. Doesn't that ring a bell? What does Surah Baqarah say? What did Bani Israel, isn't that interesting? What Allah ordered Bani Israel to do? And it says, and remember when Moses said to his people, Allah commands you to sacrifice a cow. They replied, are you mocking us? Moses responded, I seek refuge in Allah from the foolish. They called upon him and said, call upon your Lord to clarify for us what type of cow it should be. He replied, Allah says that it should be neither an old nor young, but in between. Then they further asked, as you guys know how it goes, call upon your Lord. He said it should be bright yellow cow, pleasant.
Bright yellow. You bright yellow. The Quran says bright yellow, not red. You said it's exactly the same. It's not exactly the same. It's bright. The Quranic version is bright yellow. By the way, this story has nothing to do with this red cow, but he just decided because there was a cow sacrifice and there was this element of perfection. This element, the reason why he's connecting these two is because animal sacrifices in general, the more perfect the animal was. I mean, this goes back to ancient times, like ancient Greek and ancient Egyptians. If you wanted to make God really, really happy, the animal had to be really good. This is not something. That's why these things look like they're connected. But no, this is something that people were obsessed about when it comes to finding a really good sacrifice for their God. So these things are not that relevant. I mean, they're somewhat relevant because there's a trope that was in that environment as a whole regarding to perfect sacrifices for God. But this verse in the Quran is not referring to this specific Jewish practice, which is the sacrifice of the red cow to purify, I don't know, a temple or something.
Further asked, as you guys know how it goes, call upon your Lord. He said it should be bright yellow, cow, pleasant to see. Then they asked again, then he said, and then Allah SWT said, it should have been used neither to till the soil, nor water the fields, wholesome and without blemish. Doesn't that ring a bell?
These cows should have had the best perfect life. They should have never worked a day in their life. Okay, they should have been massaged. They should have been played violin with their entire life. I mean, it sounds like the cows that they prepare for that Wagyu, is that what it's called? Wagyu meat? Yes. Wagyu. Yeah, so apparently these cows should be prepared in the same way that you prepare Wagyu meat. Okay, that they should be like, they should have had the best life right before their sacrifice.
Guys, now they said you've come with the truth, then they slaughtered it, even though Allah says in the Quran, it seemed like they were not going to. So subhanAllah, how did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this was revealed to the Prophet, peace be upon him, know about this stuff about Bani Israel, and that's exactly what is mentioned in their Talmud and in their Torah, that they have to do that. Isn't that found?
No, these are two different things. But here's the thing. This Quranic verse serves a different purpose. I don't know if Ali Dawah understands this or not, because he thinks that, oh, look, the Quran has talked about this before. It's not the same thing. This Quranic verse, if Ali Dawah knew his Quran like I did, and he doesn't, I understand Quran better than him, is to teach you, using Jews again, because the Quran tries to teach you what are the wrong ways to do things by showing you that the Jews did it. That's the Quran and the Hadith and the Sunnah. Basically, that's how they should. Like, oh, you know what you shouldn't do? Well, let me tell you what the Jews do. And you shouldn't do that. That's exactly what you shouldn't do. So this is a story where Moses was like asking for a sacrifice for God. And these people were like, well, what should this cow be like? And the Moses was like this. And they're like, okay, well, what about that? And they're like, Moses was like, okay, like this. So they were asking a lot of questions, okay? And here's the thing, you shouldn't be doing that, okay? Islam means this verse is trying to teach you that Islam means submission. If Allah tells you to do something, just go ahead and do it. Don't be nitpicking about the details. I mean, they were nitpicking about the details, and God, I don't understand. This story is not very well written, because if they're not supposed to be nitpicky, then why would God submit to them and answer their questions? But he was trying to also show that Jews are never satisfied. Jews always complain. They always nitpick, and even after you answer the questions, it will never be enough for them. It will the moral of that story is that the Jews, this will never be enough for them. But let's actually listen to the Quranic verse as well. This is very interesting Quranic verse.
To Al-Aqsa now, and they're going to do that sacrifice. Doesn't that ring a bell? What does Surah Baqarah say? What did Bani Israel? Isn't that interesting?
Look at it. What is Surah Baqarah? Surah Baqarah is the second surah in the Quran, so the second chapter of the Quran, and says, what does it say about Bani Israel? So Bani Israel in the Quran, it means the Jews, the Yahud, the Jews, right? It's very interesting because Ali Dawah and a lot of these other Islamic YouTubers, they claim that they're anti-Zionist and not anti-Jewish. But every time they want to show you that what these evil Zionists are doing and why we know how bad they are, they go to the Quranic verses and they look up Quranic verses that is talking about Jews, right? And I don't know who's being fooled by this, but for you to understand how evil Israelis are, they go to the Quranic verse talking about how bad Jews are. So that should let you know that they're lying when they're saying that they are just anti-Zionist and not anti-Jewish, because these Quranic verses is talking about Jewish in general. It's talking about Bani Israel, because these are not the same people. The people that the Quran is talking about, they're all dead. If that story ever even happened, it didn't. But let's assume it did. They're all dead. These are new people. The only thing that connects them is not Zionism, because there was no Zionism back then, right? Zionism was made in the 1800s. This is like more than, this is Moses' time. Okay, this is ancient. This is before Islam, right? So the only thing that connects them is that they're Jews. So you have a problem not with Zionists, you have a problem with Jews in general, because let's see what the Quran says about these people. What the Quran is talking about Jews. Zionism wasn't a thing back then. But let me see. Let's look at the Quranic.
What does Surah Baqarah say? What did Bani Israel? Isn't that interesting? What Allah ordered Bani Israel to do? And it says, and remember when Moses said to his people, Allah commands you to.
So his people means Jews. Moses was talking to Bani Israel. Okay. Allah commands you to sacrifice a cow. They replied, are you mocking us? Moses responded, I seek refuge in Allah from acting foolishly.
Sacrifice a cow.
Oh, hey, Susie is here.
They replied, are you mocking us? Moses responded, I seek refuge.
So this is Quran chapter 2, verse 67. So let's go now to the next
Allah
verse.
From the foolish. They called upon him and said, call upon your Lord to clarify for us what type of cow.
The Jews, look at this. This is trying to show that the Jews are always complaining. They're always nagging. They're always want clarification. The moral of the story is when Allah is telling you something, don't ask questions like these Jews did. Accept it. Submit. Islam means submission. So they're like, we're not going to sacrifice a cow. Go ask your God what it should be like. And then he replied, Moses went and got a message from Allah.
It should be. He replied, Allah says that it should be neither an old nor young, but in between. Then they further asked, as you guys know how it goes, call upon your Lord. He said it should be bright yellow, cow, pleasant to see. Then they asked again.
So Allah answers. They look how merciful Allah is. These Jewish people. By the way, am I getting demonetized for this because I'm talking? YouTube might think I'm being anti-Jewish. Oh, we're still monetized. I'm surprised. Well, let's fix that. These Jews are they're asking for clarifications from God. God is telling them to sacrifice, and they're being so demanding. These ungrateful people. God just freed them from slavery, and God wants to sacrifice, and they're sitting back well, what color should it be? It's trying to show how unreasonable Jewish people are, right? And then, but God answers. God is so merciful and so kind. Even though these Jews are being so ungrateful after being freed from slavery from Egypt, God was okay, sure, Moses, I will tell them. Make it yellow, okay?
And then it said, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, it should have been used neither to till the soil nor water the fields, wholesome and without blemish. Doesn't that ring a bell, guys?
Yeah, so the moral of the story is that you shouldn't be doing this.
Now they said you've come with the truth, then they slaughtered it, even though Allah says in the Quran, it seemed like they
look how ungrateful these Jews are. Again, I'm not making this up. This is the whole point of the story. Even after Allah answered their questions and they were being picky and God answered them, they still said, okay, sure, we will sacrifice it, but they were hesitant. This is how ungrateful and evil Jewish people are according to Quran. Not my views, YouTube. Okay, I'm telling you what the Quran is.
We're not going to. So subhanAllah, how did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this was revealed to the Prophet, peace be upon him, know about this stuff about Bani Israel, and that's exactly.
So he's missing the whole point. He's now trying to link it to this whole red cow sacrifice, but that was not at all the point of that.
It was mentioned in their Talmud and in their Torah that they have to do that. Isn't that found? Now let's talk about the Jews, Zionists, and the Christians. They are waiting for the Messiah to come. Now, why? Now this is something very, very interesting, guys. SubhanAllah, just deep this for a second. Brothers and sisters, the Messiah did come. It was Jesus, peace be upon him. We believe in this. His miraculous birth, the miracles that he done. He was the Messiah. They tried to kill him and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saved him from their hands. Now, because they rejected the true Messiah, which was Jesus, because of their arrogance, and because of their attitude of killing the prophets, as you can see, that's why the covenant was.
Okay, so here's something that many Muslims say about Jews, that they're prophet killers. Okay, Jews kill prophets, not just Jesus, but they just like to kill prophets. Okay, this is what they're accused them of. So it's a general thing apparently that they do. They like doing. This is what even their own prophets, not just Christian prophets, but also Jewish.
was Jesus because of the arrogance and because of the attitude of killing the prophets. As you can see, that's why the covenant was
See, prophets, okay? And he's saying this about Jews in general.
taken from them and given to the Muslims. Now, because of that,
Oh, so here's an interesting part. See, this was a very subtle thing that he said. I need you guys to understand this. Guys, this whole streams that we do here on Atheist Republic, these are meant to be training. I need the army of Atheist Republic to know these details so that when we are going out there and talking about these things, you are well equipped with the knowledge that we need to be able to handle all of this nonsense, right? So look at this. He took it from the Jews and gave it to the Muslims, because a lot of people are surprised. Like, there's many of the stories that Jewish people believe, and the special status that Jewish people had with God is confirmed by the Quran. And a lot of people are like, why? I thought the Quran is supposed to be anti-Jewish. Why is it that the Quran is confirming the special status that Jews had with Allah, with God? Why is it that the Quran is confirming that, but then goes around and being against the Jews so many times? Because this seems like a contradiction, especially if you read the early verses in the Quran. It just seems to be very pro-Jewish stories. But then if you read the later hadiths especially, you see that it's anti-Jewish people. So remember, you have to separate the prophets from the Jewish people. The prophets, the Jewish prophets, is what the Quran celebrates. And also sometimes it separates them as not being Jew at all. But it doesn't celebrate the Jewish people. They were given a special status to show to the world how unworthy they were of this special status. And then eventually give it to the rightful owners of the special status, which are Arabs. Because remember, the covenant, the promise that God made, was with the children of Abraham. And the children of Abraham are two, Jews and Arabs. God went with Jews first, right? We have the sons of Isaac and the sons of Ishmael. The sons of Isaac, or Ishaq, are the Jews, and the sons of Ishmael or Ismail are the Arabs, right? So we went with the Jews first. These are all the children of Abraham. God gave them the spiritual status, made them the chosen people, to show that they would, and gave them their revelation from God to show that they're not going to follow it. They're going to corrupt it. They're going to nitpick. They're going to argue. They're going to fight with God. They're going to make demands. They're going to go worship a golden cow. Okay, they're going to be like, what about this? What about that? They're going to take the verses that the Quran has revealed, that God has revealed to them, and they're going to change it. And God was like, look, see, I gave them a chance and they blew it. Now let's go on with the Arabs. Let's go on with the actual worthy sons of Abraham, which are the Arabs, not the Jews. So that's the point. So look at, this is just, Ali Dawah just referred to it just for a second here. So I just wanted you guys to understand what the mythology here.
because of the arrogance and because of the attitude of killing the prophets, as you can see, that's why the covenant was taken from them and given to the Muslims. Now,
Covenant was taken from them and given to the Muslims. What he means here is Arabs, not Muslims, because technically, if you are, I'm not going to get into the detail, but anybody could be a Muslim. Even somebody who's ethnically Jewish could become a Muslim, right? So this was the children of Abraham. The children of Abraham are not Muslims that are Pakistani, or Muslims that are Persian, or Muslims that are, Malay. Okay, these are Muslims that are Arabs. The chosen people were the Arabs, not just any Muslim.
because of that, their Messiah is going to be who? Who do you think their Messiah is going to be? Who do you think they are preparing this for? Trying to destroy Al-Aqsa so they can build their third temple. What? Who is it? It's the Dajjal. They are going to follow the Antichrist, the Dajjal. Okay, now let's come to the Christians.
So he's going to make an argument. So he's saying the Jews, by the way, these Jews, they're trying to destroy the mosque that is on top of the remaining temple of the Jews. They're trying to destroy that mosque so that they could rebuild the temple so that the Messiah comes. And he says they're not waiting for the Messiah. They're waiting for the Antichrist. And he has an argument for that. And to be fair, guys, I've heard a lot of things said by Muslims. I've never heard this one before. I don't know if Ali Dawah has came up with this argument or he's heard it someone else. Given how dumb he is, I don't think he's that creative to come up with this theory himself. I think this might be something I've never heard this one, but it's quite interesting. Think about it. People who understand how these conspiracy theories work. Tell me if you understand what he's about to do before he says it. He's saying that the Jews are preparing to build the temple, to rebuild the temple, so that the Antichrist comes, not so that the Messiah comes. Like, see how they're trying to connect the Jews to the most evil character, one of the most evil characters in Islam. They're trying to connect these together. We have two different stories. These two stories are not connected, but many Muslims like to connect, the different conspiracies or mythologies that you have. There's an attempt to connect all the evilness. So when it comes to Illuminati, when it comes to devil worshippers, when it comes to Zionists, when it comes to the Dajjal, when it comes to liberalism, when it comes to the world powers, Western world powers, these are 6 things that I just told you guys. The understanding is that they are the same thing. These are that I just said, they're the same thing. And one of the things that they all do is that they're after children, apparently, either for doing evil things to them or to drink, their, I'm not going to say it on YouTube, the red liquids from them. Okay, so these are the things that they all like to do, apparently, and that connects them, right? They're always looking for signs of that. But all of these 6 things that I told you, there's an attempt, usually conspiracy theories, people who do have these conspiracy theories, they cannot think of multiple things at the same time, so they try to reduce it all to the same thing, right? So this is in line with that. This is connecting one evil thing in the minds of many Muslims, which is Zionism, and another thing that is evil in the minds of many Muslims, which is the Dajjal, and trying to connect them together, right? And how is he about to do that? His attempt is to show you how the temple is going to be built to bring this whole red cow, and the building of the temple is an attempt to bring not the Messiah back, because the Messiah came back and they killed him, the Jews, but to bring the Antichrist back. So let's see how the Messiah not come back. The Messiah did come and they killed him. So did you guys figure out what the argument is? Yeah, Susanna has a good point. Yeah. Did anybody get it? Well, let's see how his argument is going to work.
Okay, now let's come to the Christians. The Christians believe that.
Wait, let me go a little bit back to see his point.
Simple. What? Who is it? It's the Dajjal. They are going to follow the Antichrist, the Dajjal. Okay, now let's.
Oh, so again, I'm not making this up. This is a very important point. They're not doing this for the Messiah. The Jews and the Christian, both the Jews and the Christians, they're not trying to bring the Messiah back. For the Christians, that would be bringing him back. For the Jews, to bring him for the first time, right? They're not trying to do that. They're trying to bring the Antichrist. I'm not making this up. That's actually what he's saying.
Given to the Muslims. Now, because of that, their Messiah is going to be who? Who do you think their Messiah is going to be? Who do you think they are preparing this for? Trying to destroy Al-Aqsa so they can build their third temple. What? Who is it? It's the Dajjal. They are going to follow the Antichrist, the Dajjal. Okay, now let's come to the Christians. The Christians believe that God came down as a man and done miracles, and so they believe in this concept that God can be a man, he can come down, claim to be divine, and do miracles. Interesting. What's Dajjal going to do? I can remember once a Christian guy came to me and said, Islam is a Dajjal religion. I was like, interesting. That's very ironic. You believe God is a man, done miracles. You believe that. Okay, so when Dajjal comes, he's going to be a man, he's going to do miracles, he's going to claim to be divine. I wonder who will fall for that. Muslims or the Christians? You guys will fall for it. So this is why Bum says.
So I don't know. He's not going to make the same point about how this is going to work for Jews, but he made it so the Jews. He's talking about Christians, but the whole story you were supposed to show us why, because this cow sacrifice is not being done by Christians. This cow sacrifice is being done by Jews, and you were supposed to show us why this cow sacrifice and the attempt to rebuild the temple is for the sake of bringing the Antichrist back. But instead of explaining this, how this argument works for Jews, you explain it how it works for Christians. So I don't know why we just all of a sudden, I think his audience might not notice that we just switched the topic here, but let's ignore the fact that we didn't explain it for the Jews and we explained it for the Christians, and let's look at his argument. He's saying, among Muslims and Christians, who is going to get fooled by the Antichrist? So remember the Dajjal, which is the Antichrist in Islam. At the end of days, he's going to show up. At the end of days, he's going to show up and he's going to perform miracles. And he's going to claim that he's divine. And a lot of people will follow him and believe him, right? And he's going to have the mark of the beast and all that nonsense, okay? And he's going to have one eye. And he's right now, by the way, I'm not making this up, guys. As we're speaking, you know, before the end of days, the Dajjal is on a deserted island, tied by chains, okay? And he's very hairy, apparently. That's also a thing, right? I'm not making this up. This is actually Islamic belief. As we're speaking right now, the Dajjal, the Antichrist, is somewhere on an island, tied up in chains, and he's waiting for somebody to come free him from his chains. Not gonna get into that nonsense, but the idea is that he will come, he will rule the world, he will have so many superpowers, he's going to be able to do miracles and all that stuff, and people will think that he's actually divine and follow him, right? And he's saying the Christians are going to fall for that because the Christians are hashtag free Dajjal. Exactly, Susanna. I love that. Free Dajjal, yes. And let's make that hashtag a thing. Somebody's saying Harry Potter. Yeah, exactly. A wizard, a very hairy wizard. So he's saying the Christians will fall for this because the Christians think that a man is God. You know, Muslims will not fall for this because the Christians are waiting for Jesus Christ to come back, and Jesus Christ is a man, right? That is divine, according to Christians, that will be able to do miraculous things. But Muslims don't believe that God could be a man. So Christians who are waiting for something like that, when the Dajjal comes, the Christians will be fooled because the Christians will think like, oh, there's a man that is doing miraculous things. That must be Jesus. But Muslims don't believe that, so Christians will be fooled. That makes a lot of sense if you don't think about it. Because if you do think about it, you will realize that the idea of Jesus being God or not God does not change the fact that both Muslims and Christians think that he's going to come back and he's going to do miracles. So I don't know why Muslims are not going to be fooled, because Muslims believe the same thing. Muslims believe Jesus is coming back, and Muslims is going to do miraculous things because Jesus always did miraculous things. He did perform miracles, and when he comes back, he's going to continue to do miracles. You know why I know when Jesus comes back, according to Muslims, he's going to continue to do miracles? Because he's the one who's going to be able to kill the Dajjal. And I don't think you can kill the Dajjal without performing some miracles, because the Dajjal is going to have superpowers. So Jesus is going to fight. At the end of days, according to Muslims, Jesus is going to fight the Dajjal, and he's going to defeat him, and he's going to win. And that will be a miraculous event. So Jesus, when Jesus comes back, according to Muslims himself, he will also be somebody who's doing miraculous things. So how does that set that apart from Christians? The only difference is that Christians think he's God, but you don't think he's God. But the identifier of the thing that might confuse you with him, with the Dajjal, is that he's a man that is doing miraculous things. In fact, Muslims will be more confused, because if Dajjal can do some miracles and he can't do everything, well, the Muslims should be convinced that he's Jesus, because Jesus can't do everything. But if he can't do everything, the Christians will be like, well, you're supposed to be God. How come we can't do everything? This actually should be more confused. Do you guys still understand what I'm saying? If the Dajjal comes and he's not Jesus and he's pretending to be Jesus, the Christians, and he's limited in his powers, the Christians will be like, okay, you're not Jesus, because Jesus is God and he can do everything. But the Muslim will be like, oh, you are Jesus, because Jesus is not God. Jesus can do miraculous things, but he's not unlimited. He doesn't have unlimited power. So it's the Dajjal is closer to the Muslim Jesus, not to the Christian Jesus. This should be more confusing. The Muslims are easier to fool here, if any of this nonsense was true, by the way. Do you see what I'm saying? His argument doesn't make any sense. And it's not even about the Jews. You were supposed to show us why the sacrifice of the red cow by the Jews is meant to bring the Dajjal back, and all of a sudden you switch to Christians. I don't understand how his audience makes any sense of this. This is all over the place. This is everything that he said, even by Islamic standards. Guys, even listen to what I'm saying. Even by Islamic standards, this is nonsense. And that's saying a lot, okay? Because Islam is absolute nonsense. And even within Islamic standards, this is absolute garbage. You guys, somebody is confused. Guys, are you following what I'm saying? Let me know if I need to explain it in more basic. But let me know if you're understanding what I'm saying here. Let me see.
This is when the Messiah comes, and it is so close because they are now literally preparing to build a third temple. Now, is this going to happen or not?
Who's building who's going to build the third temple? It's not going to be the Christians. Oh my God, it's the Jews. You have to tell me, you were supposed to tell me why the Jews are going to bring up the
regardless, if it happens for us, that's the reason why the Jews want to do that, and the Christians are heavily supporting them. Ironically, they are.
You didn't say, okay, you told us why the Christians were supporting them in your own way, but you forgot to tell us why the Jews are bringing the Dajjal back.
Now, is this going to happen or not? Regardless, if it happens for us, that's the reason why the Jews want to do that, and the Christians are heavily supporting them. Ironically, they are supporting that because the beliefs of the Christians is when the Messiah, when Jesus comes, what the Jews are going to do, they're just saying, yeah, let's just trigger it. Let it happen. When Jesus comes, he's going to slaughter the Jews. Yes, that do not believe in him. Can you imagine? So they're in both each other's demise. And for us Muslims, when that happens, we believe that the Antichrist, Dajjal, it's going to be their Messiah. They're going to both fall for it. As Muslims, alhamdulillah, may Allah protect.
Both of them will fall for it. The Jews will also fall for it. This is very, this is horrible. This is dangerous. He's saying Christians and Jews, imagine demonizing. This is absolute demonization of Jews and Christians, right? He's literally telling you that they will follow a demon, right? The Christians and Jews, at the end of days, they will follow the Antichrist, and Muslims won't. Muslims are equipped with the right methodology, with the right ideas to not be fooled by this. I mean, at least most of them. But Christians and Jews will be misguided. They will follow the Antichrist. That's what his point is. This is very dangerous. This is dividing the world. This is demonizing an entire group of people.
This from, inshallah, of course, there'll be some Muslims that might fall for it as well, his fitna, but which shows us what?
Yes, some Muslims will fall for it as well. Okay, but he said some Muslims plus Christians and Jews.
That we will, inshallah, wait for the true Messiah, which we believed, which is Jesus, peace be on him. He will truly come, not claim to be divine. He will come and rather kill the Dajjal. And inshallah, that day will come where trees will be talking to Muslims.
So there's going to be a fight. There's going to be a final battle, okay, between Jesus. So in Islamically, at the end of days, the Mahdi will come, right? And right behind Mahdi is Jesus. The Mahdi is the guy that's going to be leading the good people at the end of days. And we have the Shias believing in one version of that and the Sunni a different version of that. The Shia version of the Mahdi performs a lot of miracles. The Sunni version does not mention that the Mahdi is going to perform miracles, but the Mahdi will come with Jesus right behind him. Okay, so Jesus is going to be following the Mahdi. And for some reason, the Mahdi is not going to kill the Dajjal. Jesus is going to kill the Dajjal. So they're going to be, according to Muslims, there's going to be a fight between the Antichrist and Christ, between Jesus and Dajjal, and Jesus will win and he will kill the Dajjal. And Mahdi, I don't know why Mahdi is not taking part in this fight, but that's what's happening. Okay, I mean, the Mahdi in Sunni Islam mostly has a leadership role. He is not explained if he's going to do supernatural. He doesn't. I don't know if he has supernatural powers or not, but he's just going to be a leader. But the Mahdi in Shia Islam, oh my, he's going to have supernatural stuff coming out of everywhere. Like he's going to be farting supernatural stuff as well. He's going to be speaking and everybody's going to hear him. He's going to do miraculous stuff. He's going to like he's going to like point to his enemies and they will all just evaporate and all that kind of stuff.
Muslims, inshallah. Yes, that day would come, inshallah, brothers and sisters, that when they would, inshallah, we would be on the side of the true Messiah, Jesus, peace be upon him, and be in his army against the Dajjal and those Zionists, Jews, Christians who did not believe in the Messiah. And because of that, and what does Allah say in the Quran? Every one of...
Did you hear what just happened? Did you guys just notice that? He said, inshallah, God willing, when the Jesus comes, we will join his army and kill all the Christians and Jews, basically. That's what he just said. Did you guys just hear that? Did you guys just hear that? But by the way, don't be fooled. When he says all the misguided Christians, basically that means all of the Christians. Because the Christians that are not misguided are the Christians that, according to Islam, the Christians that are proper Christians that are not misguided, they don't believe that Jesus died on the cross. They don't believe in the Trinity. They're not waiting for the Messiah to come back. So basically, no Christians at all. All Christians will be considered misguided. Any Christian that is waiting for the Messiah to come back will be misguided. Who thinks that Jesus is going to come back will be considered misguided. So he's like, inshallah, the Mahdi will come and Jesus will come, and we Muslims will join that army to fight the Jews and the Christians, and also the infidels, like that would be including us. He's basically saying, God willing, we will fight to kill them. I mean, these are the people that we have in society, and they act like they're peaceful. They're waiting for the day that that they get to join an army to kill. Do you understand how dangerous this mentality is that you're spreading among Muslims all around the world? That this is the most popular English-speaking Islamic YouTube channel, and with this ideology, the people that support this ideology are the people who are waiting for the day that they get to be armed against Christians and Jews. I mean, that day will never come, okay? But just having that idea, like, imagine what that does to a mind. Imagine being a child in the UK, growing up with this ideology, with the understanding that all the Christians and Jews and atheists that are around you, if the Mahdi comes, you will join an army to kill them. That does not lead to a way of thinking that brings harmony to a society. Do you understand how destructive that is, to think of Christians and Jews and other non-Muslims in this way, people you're living side by side with? I mean, when you're being kind to them, that's just a mask, because inside you have an ideology that believes that, God willing, I hope for the time that a person will come to lead me so I could kill these people. Imagine a Muslim having that mentality, but now you're meeting them every day, and they're like, when you say hi to them, they're being kind to you, they're smiling at you. But what does that say about those people when they have beliefs that has these conclusions in them? And again, I'm not saying it. Ali Dawah is saying it, and this is a guy with this level of popularity. Listen to it again.
Jews, Christians who did not believe in the Messiah.
Look, inshallah, God willing,
that day would come, inshallah, brothers and sisters, that when they would, inshallah, we would be on the side of the true Messiah, Jesus, peace be upon him, and be in his army against the Dajjal and those Zionist Jews, Christians who did not believe in the Messiah. And because of that, and what does Allah say in the Quran? Every one of the people of the book will definitely believe in him before his death, Jesus. And on the day of judgment, Jesus will be a witness against them. Brothers and sisters, we are very, very close.
So you Christians, you have to remember, you think you follow Jesus, okay? Yes, you think you believe in him, but when Jesus comes back, you will realize that you were wrong, and Jesus will be a witness against you. So you think that you're worshiping Jesus, but Jesus, according to Ali Dawah and the Quran, Jesus is not God, and Jesus will testify against you who are a Christian, in the day of judgment. That's what Muslims believe. They're like, Jesus will basically, this is what Jesus will say at the day of judgment. God will ask Jesus, like, did you tell these people that you're God? And Jesus will say, Astaghfirullah, no way, I never told these people that I'm God. They're not, these people are, have lost their way. They're not of me. They're not my followers. I do not endorse them. And he will testify against every single one of you. Muslims believe that. Okay.
We are very, very close to the end of times. Very, very, very close.
See, this is what they want to hear. Like, you see, at the beginning of the video, I said, oh, we're very, 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 very close to the end of times. Why? Can you guys tell me what's the appeal of this? Because people have been saying this since the last, I think, 5,000 years or more, actually. No, actually more. Hindus have been saying that even before Abrahamic religions was a thing. I mean, when did Abrahamic Hinduism start having end of times narratives? But this is an ancient obsession, and I don't get it. I don't see the appeal of it. Why is it that when religious people talk about the end of days being so close, people get so excited and they're into it? I think I might have an understanding about it right now, especially these days where there's this news that AI might be changing everything. I kind of feel like, you know what? I get it. Because now that there's a lot of news that AI might, or I don't know, might not change everything very, very, very soon. And I'm like, oh my God, is it? And I'm like excited about it. And I'm like interested in following it. And like, is the whole world about to change? So I think now that there's a version of it that might be true. And I don't know, I'm not saying it's true, but it might be true. I kind of see the appeal. I kind of see why people have been obsessed about it. If the world is a certain way and it's about to change dramatically very soon, that sounds very interesting. Okay, so that's why this religious narrative sells.
Very close to the end of times. Very.
Oh my God, look at this.
Brothers and sisters, we are very, very close to the end of times. Very, very, very close, subhanAllah, to the end of times. Guys, all I'm going to say is that, inshallah, may Allah bless you guys. Look after yourself, inshallah. And
yes, this guy, Mr. Garak, is making a very good point in the live chat. It says it's a mass revenge fantasy. That is so true. It's a mass revenge fantasy. All the people who think that they have been wrong, all the people that they think that they're lesser than. It's also an inferiority complex. It's an inferiority complex, and there will be the end of days will come, and everybody that thinks that they were above us, they will see that they are below us, and we were right and they were wrong, and they will be like crying, and they're like, we're sorry, we didn't believe in you, you were right all this time. And you will be just looking in the faces and see how sorry that they are that they didn't believe in you. It is a mass revenge fantasy. You got it, Garak. That is exactly what it is. Good job. You have identified this correctly. Okay, good. That's good.
Prepare for your day of judgment is the day when you die. Don't wait for that big day of judgment. The Dajjal is on, it seems like, for them doing this, etc. The third temple being built, whatever that for that matter, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ruin their plans, but whatever is meant to be is going to happen, inshallah. And the Muslims are going to be victorious, inshallah. It is clear for us. We've had so many prophecies coming. It is clear for us. Let them do the oppression. Like Allah says in the Quran, they will cause fitna in the land twice. And twice Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala send their servants that will, inshallah, deal with the oppressors. Till next time, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Why does he always, hold on, let me bring this back up. Why does he always look he always looks like he doesn't want to be here? I don't feel like you want to talk to us, Ali Dawah. Look at this. He always, like, why don't you edit this part out? He always checks his watch while he's doing his video. Like, you, it's not like you're producing a video every day. Like, put your heart into it. Show us that you want to be here for us to talk to us. Like, your audience wants to feel like he always wants to leave. He's every single time I've seen his videos, like, he doesn't even edit them out. He's always checking his watch. Okay, go. You want to leave? Like, you don't want to be here? I don't understand. But anyway, there have been, history is filled with the dead bodies of people that said that any day now the end of times will come. Like, this is I don't know why they never learn. Like, there are people like, any day now, the end of times is happening any day now. They don't look at the thousands of years of people before them that said the exact same thing and it didn't happen. I don't understand that. Okay, let me see the. Yeah, well, we're different. They were wrong, but you know who else said that? Muhammad said that. Okay, I don't know if you guys know that, but Prophet Muhammad, thought that he's going to see the end of days very, 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 very soon. There's a hadith. Oh, I should have had that hadith ready for you guys. I don't know if I could find it right now, but there's a hadith. Muhammad, end of days child. Is that going to bring it? Which prophet related to? There's a prophecy, there's a hadith that showed that Muhammad thought that the end of days was a lot closer. But the last hour. Yes. I found it. Look at this. Prophet Muhammad was one of those people that thought that the end of days is happening very, very, very soon. Okay, so these are Sahih hadith. Do you guys want me to show this to you guys, because this is very interesting? Yes, let me show this to you guys. All right, so look at these. Let me put this here so I could read it while I like the screen as well. I see a super chat. I will read it as well. You see? Okay. Allah's messenger, Muhammad, may peace be upon him. They ask, Sallallahu Alaihi. Okay, hold on. Allah's messenger, I mean Prophet Muhammad, asked about the last hour as to when that will come. And he looked towards the youngest among them. There was a boy among the Muslims that they were asking him, when is the last hour is going to come? It means the end of days. He said, if he lives, he would not grow very old, that he would find your last hour coming to you. He would see you dying. Okay, so this is one. And you can see there's a lot of other hadiths that is saying the same thing. And these hadiths are sahih. These are sahih hadiths. Sahih. That means they're authentic. That means that they are a fundamental part of Islamic teaching. You cannot separate this hadith from Islam. But you saw it on the screen. You could pause them and read all of them. But basically, the story is this: there's a lot of hadith that points to the fact that Muhammad, Islamically, there's the belief that Muhammad said to Muslims when they asked him when is the end of days coming, and he said he pointed to a young boy among them and said that it will come before this kid dies. It will come before this kid is old, gets very old. Like before his hair turns white, the end of days come. So according to Islamic teaching, the end of days was supposed to come before that young boy died. And it has been around 1400 years now. And I'm pretty sure that little boy that Muhammad pointed to is very, very, very dead. So Muhammad was wrong. Muhammad, just like Ali Dawah, thought that the end of days is very close, and he was wrong. Oh, and also Jesus believed that as well. Anyways, let me read the super chat. And guys, don't forget to like the stream. This is a very informative stream. Like, wouldn't you say? Like, I use Ali Dawah to educate you about a lot of small details that you didn't know. And I think a lot more people knowing about this will be able to, a lot of other streams that we do, we respond to a lot of nonsense. But I think these streams that we do is a lot more educational. And with this knowledge, we are going to be able to, like all of us here at the Atheist Republic Army, we will be able to be better at responding to, like, when Muslims come and they try to spread their nonsense, if you show that you have an understanding of what they're saying, if you know their details, then they're going to be very hard for them to disarm you. Let me read this super chat by Angie. Angie saying, to me, his vibe is like an Islamist Kardashian. Really? I mean, why? I mean, I wouldn't know, but okay. Let me know if the rest of you agree. Oh, we got another super chat. But before I get to the super chat, Dolly decided to star this one for me. Will of Woke is saying, Armin doing his Zionist propaganda 24/7 before he went after Hindus. Now suddenly he ignores every IDF war crime and defend the how progressive. He ignores every before I criticized Hindutva and Hindu religion. Because I criticize religion. That's what I do. Yes, and I ignore every idea of war crimes. No, I don't ignore every idea of war crimes. I will accept each one of them that you have provided an evidence for. I don't understand why you would say that. I actually think that I can provide, if IDF, like every other military in the world, probably has some examples of war crimes, but I think the IDF has done a better job than other military to try to reduce them. They have done a very good job in trying to reduce them, even though you cannot stop every single bad actor. But here's the thing: the difference between me and you is not that I ignore IDF war crimes, is that I only accept the ones as war crimes that there's evidence for, right? So I can do actually a better job than you in pointing to some war crimes that is not like systematic, but there are some examples of some IDF soldiers doing things that are war crimes, and I don't ignore them. I am actually better at bringing you examples because I look for evidence. You are, a lot of people here are like anti-Jewish haters, and they don't need evidence. They just need accusations. If you just accuse Israel of committing, the IDF of committing war crimes, that accusation is enough without actually providing any evidence. So if you want to consider me, if you want to call me out for not making any claims without evidence, I am guilty as charged. But let's go to HD Drake. By the way, guys, every war will have some war crimes in it. Every war will have some war crimes in it, and they need to be condemned. Okay, but the argument that people make is that IDF is doing it systematically on purpose, ordered from the top down. Okay, but I will say, like, no, there's obviously will be some examples of war crimes, but these are done by certain soldiers that are bad actors, and Israel does a good job in trying to stop that. Relative to other armies, Israel does a better job to try to stop that. But I don't deny that there will obviously be some war crimes in war that happens, unfortunately. HD Drake with a $10 super chat saying, Jesus also predicted that the apocalypse would happen before some of his disciples die. Exactly. Muhammad had that prediction and Jesus had that prediction, and both of them were wrong. And since then, there have been at least 200 predictions for the end of days. Oh, I'm pretty sure way more than that. Way more than that. Okay. These are maybe the 200 are the ones that are like get more attention. But anyways, this was a good stream. I enjoyed it. I don't know about you guys, but I enjoyed it. I think it was fun. But make sure you like the stream because I need more people to watch the stream. Once the stream is over, make sure you leave a comment under the show so that that will trigger the algorithm and more people will end up watching the show. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell notification because we're doing a very good job here in informing you people about the things that you need to know in order to battle nonsense. You just saw some of the nonsense here that that Dolly decided for us to highlight. There's a lot of that, and we're doing it. That deserves a response, and we're doing a good job in providing response here. So you need to be here, join the army, subscribe to Atheist Republic on YouTube, so that you can join the army, and make sure you hit the bell notification because if you hit the bell notification, that's the only way that YouTube will tell you at what point are we going live. Okay, a lot of people are watching this on Twitter. Make sure you hop over to YouTube and subscribe to YouTube to our channel. What else you could do? Oh, make sure you tell your friends and your enemies to come and subscribe to this channel because word of mouth is the most important way to get this channel grow. Okay, so subscribe yourself, leave a comment, but go tell other people to come and subscribe to Atheist Republic on YouTube. I'm gonna go get ready for my Persian show on Jamhuriya Bi Khodayan, which is the Persian version of this channel. So if you speak Persian, come over there. But if you don't, I'll see you on the next show. Bye.